Welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now live here on Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. No matter where you are or how you're tuned in, we appreciate all of you for making today's show a part of your day. Plenty to discuss on the program here as Philadelphia kind of in the midst of a long break in action between Thursday night football and Monday night football. The disadvantage was having to play on Thursday night, even though they got that game at home against Minnesota. The advantage of that, though, is then getting basically a week and a half off, taking on the Buccaneers in Tampa for some Monday night football. On the show today, plenty to discuss. Are the Eagles going to make a move at that cornerback position in the wake of Avonte Maddox's injury? We're going to talk about the dynamic duo of Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, how both of them are shocking the Philadelphia Eagles right now and really taking the NFL by storm at defensive tackle as far as young players go, because both of the young studs have been so impressive throughout the first two games. We'll do an Eagles-Bucs preview and, of course, a mailbag, because we love chopping it up with the Fly Eagles Fly family. Bird Gang, this show is about you as well. Use the hashtag Eagles, better yet Super Chat, so that you can get your questions and your takes featured on the show. I'm Chase Sr. Producer Chip here is to my right. The Bird Gang is hanging out all across America, all across the globe. And we start off with our first poll question here. Will the Eagles offense finally break out on Monday night against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Give me a B for breakout or a D for dud. What do you think is going to happen Monday Night Football for this offense? I want you to let me know down below in that comment section here. I'm looking at Cool Rains, breakout. Antonio, breakout. Polo Joe, if you said safety or linebacker, I would believe you. Well, the Eagles are working out cornerbacks as we speak. Gigante D, Dome, breakout. So Agate thinks that the Eagles are going to have another offensive dud. LA saying breakout for this Eagles offense. William Jones is there. Mr. Rivera, breakout. And Mikal saying hopefully they find a way to break out. We're going to talk about that Eagles offense coming up here on the show, because we will do our Eagles-Bucs preview. Now, when we talk about the Philadelphia Eagles making a big move here, could Howie Roseman be looking at a couple of rosters across the NFL and a couple of teams who might be out of it, porous organizations, or they're deep at that cornerback spot looking to make a trade? Maybe now, if not now, maybe down the road. But Philadelphia understands here that they have a need as far as depth goes at cornerback. That's why they're working out a player like William Jackson, a former first-round pick of the Cincinnati Bengals. He got a big deal, signed with the Washington Commanders, and was awful for Washington in 2021 and in 2022. But he did play primarily at outside corner. He would play most likely slot corner for Philly and maybe be a backup. Jordan Schultz with this, that Commanders cornerback William Jackson working out for the Eagles today. Sub 4.4 corner who I'm told is fully healthy after enduring a bulging disc in his back last year. When we scout the player, played his college football at Houston. That was back when the Cougars were in the American Athletic Conference, had a couple of really good games against Temple University around that time frame. That's when Greg Ward, Eagle legend, was the quarterback there for Houston. 2016 first-round pick by the Cincinnati Bengals, has played primarily outside, solid size, 6 foot, 189 pounds, a lot of experience too, 75 games, that includes 64 starts. Started his career with Cincinnati, and then he spent a couple of years with the Washington Commanders after the Bengals no longer wanted to pay him. In 2022, limited action because of that bulging disc issue. Pro Football Focus overall grade of 49.6, a coverage grade of 48.9. That came on 127 coverage snaps in 4 games. If the Eagles don't go William Jackson III, here are the other top free agent cornerbacks available. You're looking at players like Casey Hayward, a bit older on that scale at 34 years of age. Grant Haley is 27. Anthony Brown, he actually just signed with the San Francisco 49ers right before we went live here. Cameron Dancer, 25 years old, former first-round pick. And then Greedy Williams, one of the other corners potentially available for Philadelphia here. We have a lot of people who are getting that notification starting to pile into the show. If you want to support the program here, easy way to do that for free is make sure you hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. 130 plus people watching live, only 21 likes. So make sure you support the program, like the video. Also want to thank AG1 for supporting the show. You know how I started my day? With some AG1. You know how I start every single day? With AG1. And if you use our link, drinkag1.com/chatsports, you get 5 free travel packs and a year's supply of vitamin D. That's 5 free travel packs and a year's supply of vitamin D with your first purchase if you go to drinkag1.com/chatsports. 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. You simply mix 1 small scoop of AG1 into water. Drink it first thing in the morning to set the foundation for the rest of your day. I like to also drink it after my workouts to replace what I lost. Benefits of daily use. Everybody out there can benefit from this, right? Promotes gut health, supports immunity, boosts your focus as well as your energy levels, and it's clean ingredients, right? $3 a day is what it averages out to be. So it's good for you, it tastes great, and it's very, very affordable. So if you want to get started today with that great deal, AG1, free 1-year supply of vitamin D, 5 free travel packs with that first purchase. We're going to put that link in the comment section as well as in the description of this video. So it's a Tuesday edition of Philadelphia Eagles Now Live. The official show has not started yet, and it really doesn't start until I ask you this. Where is the Bird Gang hanging out? AKA, where are you watching from? Rep it down below in the comments, and we'll start to give you some more shout-outs here on the program. Recent Commenter Club, Polo Joe, Andrew Nathan, Philly CDA, LA, James Williams, all in the chat right now, Manuel Garcia. But where are you right now watching the program from? Please let us know down in the comment section here. We have hashtag us, Harrisburg, LA, South Carolina, Chulalore, Hamilton City, California, Junior Vila, Bird Gang out in New Mexico, Eric Camper, any news on A.J. Brown? Should we be worried about that sideline situation? The news on that, Nick Sirianni said, on the scale of blow-ups, 1 to 10, 1 not mattering, 10 being a big deal, he said, I'd rate it a 2. No big deal at all. And I said that right after the game. If anybody is trying to talk about that as drama, it's just really not. Mark David, York, PA, Jonathan Hall, New Mexico, Andrew, Los Angeles, Philly in the building from Jarrett Francis, Jose Serrano, upstate New York, HVH, Rochester, New York, Hayden Lake, Idaho, Chuck Burke is in Philly, Vegas from Mal, Roland Stansel, Raleigh, North Carolina. How cool is it that the Bird Gang is hanging out from all across the globe? If you want to donate to the show today, here is our Super Chat menu. $5 gets you a duck to have a duck race at the end of the live show. But we need enough ducks, multiple, in order to have that duck race. So if you want to have some fun and you just want to get lit here on the show and have some great entertainment value, you send in a $5 Super Chat. You get yourself a duck with your name on it. Then we have a duck at the end of the live show. $10, your initials go on the hard hat here because we're a bring your hard hat to work type of crew. $20, I will run in place for 20 seconds. $50, we will drink. $100 or more, as always, gets you in the Bird's Nest Hall of Fame. We will be doing a mailbag on the program here today, so please, if you want your questions answered, your comments, your analysis, your opinions, use the hashtag Eagles and include your comment in there. Use the hashtag Eagles and include your comment. Or, if you want to get your questions answered first, send in a Super Chat. We'll get to those as soon as possible. Michael Wallace, Westchester, PA. That is my hometown. Grew up on the corner of 202 and 926. Bayard Rustin, class of 2010. All right, let's do a real one roll call. Who is ready to start the show? Real one roll call. If you're a real one and you're ready to talk some EAGLES Eagles, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. Make some noise. Make some noise digitally and virtually by hitting that thumbs up icon, liking the video. Andrew Nathan saying he's a real one. Ernesto is a real one. Cool Rains LA added to the real one crew. Slim Jim Breaks from Southwest Florida. Nick Stone, real one. Junior Vila, real one. Robert Bromley, Erica Jones, joining the real one party. Continue to hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. More likes that we get, more people who hang out, and of course, the better that the show will be. Wit from 717. Shout out Lancaster, by the way. Real one and LFX. Of course, as always, a real one. Hashtag us an Orchard Man. Let's go. We appreciate all the great compliments in the chat as well. As for how we're going to start the show here today, how Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are shocking the Philadelphia Eagles up to this point throughout the first two games of the regular season. You won't find better, more exciting, more insightful Eagles talk anywhere on YouTube, and the official show begins right now. Through two games for Philadelphia, the young dogs are eating up. We're talking about Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis on today's show. How both of these young players from Georgia, hence the Bulldogs reference, are impressing the Birds so far to start off the 2023 campaign. Before we take a look at that, Pro Football Focus numbers, some analytics, and some player comparisons, as some of these guys have been compared to some great Philadelphia Eagles up to this point. A reminder, we're going to be doing a watch party for Monday Night Football. Philadelphia traveling to Tampa to take on the Bucs in a battle of two 2-0 teams. You don't want to miss it. Live play-by-play, audience interaction. We'll be taking down some beers, and our pregame show starts an hour before kickoff. Let's get to 53,000 subscribers prior to that game. And when you do subscribe, turn on your notifications. Therefore, when we do go live, you will be notified. So as I said off the rip, I want to spend a couple of moments talking about Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis on today's show. This has been a dynamic duo so far, and they really do have so much potential as franchise cornerstones for Philadelphia. We know that Howie Roseman likes to build his team up along the trenches, offensive line, defensive line, and that is exemplified by his draft strategy the last 2 years to move up to take Jordan Davis and leapfrog the Baltimore Ravens, and then move up to take Jalen Carter in the 2023 draft. Through two games, these two dogs playing very well. Jalen Carter as a rookie, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, 1 quarterback hit, 3 tackles in total. For his former Georgia teammate and current Eagles teammate, Jordan Davis, 1.5 sacks in limited snaps, by the way, 2 tackles for loss, 3 quarterback hits, 8 tackles, and 1 forced fumble. Now, Jordan Davis getting less snaps as compared to Jalen Carter is not a knock on Davis. It's only because the Minnesota Vikings are a pass-happy team, not a run-heavy team, and because that Davis wasn't on the field as much, but he let his presence be known. And really, anytime that Carter and Davis have been on the field, they've let their presence be known, physically overpowering opposing offensive linemen and finding a way to cause some type of destruction in the backfield, whether it be a quarterback hit, a quarterback pressure, a sack, or tackling the ball carrier behind the line of scrimmage or around the line of scrimmage. We segue from the numbers for both of those players to some individual Pro Football Focus numbers. Let's start here with Jalen Carter, and according to PFF, off to one of the best starts that you can ever imagine for a rookie. More on that in a moment. But an overall grade for Jalen Carter of 90.2. That is the highest grade for any rookie so far through 2 games from the 2023 NFL draft class. Run defense grade, awesome, 80.5. League average is 70. So Jalen Carter is thriving right now. Pass rush grade even better with 82.2. And I know we talked about the pressures earlier. That was according to Pro Football Focus, or Pro Football Reference, According to Pro Football Focus, they tally these numbers a little bit differently. He has even more pressures on the quarterback with 11 to go alongside 10 quarterback hurries. So that's Jalen Carter. How about Jordan Davis, who has made some huge strides, notable strides from year 1 to year 2. Better shape, little quicker, little stronger, but he's still 6'6", 340 pounds. For him, an overall Pro Football Focus grade of 89.8, stout against the run at 74.5, good against the pass rush, and that was the question for him entering the NFL. Is he a one-down player, two-down player, three-down player? Can you put him in pass rushing situations? We saw him throw the offensive lineman to the side like he was nothing, and then get after Kirk Cousins on Thursday Night Football. So he does have some pass rushing ability and a lot of quickness at that size. He has 4 pressures and 1 quarterback hurry. Really what it comes down to for Carter and Davis is the eye test, right? And it's the impact that you feel as though they have anytime Sean Desai puts him in the game. Like, you can see it, you can feel it, because both of these players have physical force and a lot of ability. And both are top 4 among all defensive tackles through 2 weeks this NFL season, according to Pro Football Focus, and their overall grades, right? Carter up there, Jordan Davis up there as well. Specifically Carter, though, I teased this a little bit earlier about the tremendous start that he's off to. Historic. PFF saying it was some effort from Jalen Carter and the inspiration for this piece. This is coming after week 1, by the way, who had a debut for the ages. It was the highest debut grade ever recorded by an interior defensive lineman, and it even edged out Aaron Donald at 89.7, and he turned out to be pretty good, right? And then PFF on Carter after week 2, that Thursday win against the Vikings. It was a more normal week for Carter after his record-setting debut. He posted a 64.8 overall grade on his 28 snaps. Despite the mediocre grade, Carter still came away with 3 pressures, made 2 run stops on just 3 run defense snaps. His playmaking ability is off the charts, and he has only 1 play with a negative grade through 2 games. Again, 1 play with a negative grade through 2 games. Now, I don't look at Pro Football Focus numbers as something that, you always rely on, right? Sometimes I rely on the eye test. Sometimes I rely on feel. Sometimes I rely on other numbers. But they watch literally every snap, and how they judge every snap, it's pretty impressive what Carter and Davis have been able to do. So if you love what the young dogs are doing here, show some love to what Howie Roseman has done and how these players have performed. I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. More on both of those guys in a moment, because there's still plenty to get to. First, though, Philadelphia Eagles now is sponsored by AG1. You know how I start off every day? With AG1. You know how I started off today? Of course, with AG1, because it sets the foundation for the rest of my day. I love them, and you'll love them too. If you go to drinkag1.com/chatsports, you'll also love this deal. 5 free travel packs and a year supply of vitamin D with your first purchase. If you're looking for a comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition option, and you're looking to stay healthy, and you're looking to really prioritize your health, one life, one body, AG1 has 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, no bad ingredients. And the benefits of daily use, things that everyday people can benefit from every single day. Promotes gut health, supports immunity, boosts focus and energy. I love how it tastes. And also, I love how it's good for me, and it costs less than $3 per day on average. So again, you get something affordable that will really help you out at the end of the day. So one more time, we're going to put this link down below in the comments section as well as in the description of this video. drinkag1.com/chatsports. Get started today. A huge sponsor here on Philadelphia Eagles now, and the way that this channel and our company, Chat Sports, has been able to grow is incredible. Wouldn't be possible without all of your support, and we wouldn't have great sponsors like AG1 if it wasn't for all of you. So a little bit earlier, I talked about some of those player comps, and with guys like Jordan Davis, they have such unique body types. He's kind of gotten the comparison of Albert Hainsworth before he got paid and was a bad player, just a massive defensive tackle. Vince Wilfork, although I think Davis can be even more athletic. As for Jalen Carter, Seth Joyner comparing him to Jerome Brown, the late, great Jerome Brown, RIP to number 99, and then Dick Vermeil, former Eagles head coach, comparing Jalen Carter to Reggie White. Now, Reggie White, little bit odd in my estimation because he played edge rusher. Jalen Carter can play edge rusher, but he's more so a defensive tackle. And Nick Sirianni, he appreciates these comments and these player comparisons, but as a coach normally does, he's pumping the brakes a little bit. He said, next time I talk to Coach Vermeil, I'll be like, whoa, that was high expectation for Jalen. He's got a long way to go, though, but we're really pleased with where he is. Obviously, I respect Coach Vermeil's opinion very much, but he's able to look ahead and forecast. I have to stay day to day. If you're Sirianni, you got to be like, man, I'm salivating over the potential of our young defensive tackles here. But yeah, let's be real. There's a long way to go. You know, it's also interesting. You take a look at the top quarterback pressure leaders in the National Football League. It's a pretty damn good list, right? And you know what's also pretty crazy? There's only one interior defensive lineman on this list. One defensive tackle. You know who it is? Yeah, that's your boy Jalen Carter. Aiden Hutchinson, Detroit Lions, 13 quarterback pressures so far. Cam Jordan has 12. Micah Parsons is on another world right now. I know that he plays for the Cowboys, but he is from Pennsylvania. He secretly probably wants to be an Eagle, but he's playing great ball right now. 12 quarterback pressures for him. Jalen Carter has 11, TJ Watt with 11, and then Carl Granderson with 11 as well. The great luxury for Philadelphia is this: having a great defensive tackle combination that you can build around. And these are young players who are cost-controlled assets for the next few years. If you exercise their fifth-year options because they are both first-round picks, then Jalen Carter is going to be here for 5 more years. And then Jordan Davis, year 1 last year, year 2 this year, that's 5 years of cost-controlled assets who, if they continue to grow, they continue to get better, and they continue this ascent, that right there is pretty damn special. If you're still watching the show and you enjoyed the program today, we try to be as informative as possible, entertaining as well, because that's the motto. Then give me a real one down below in the chat, because we always appreciate you for rocking and rolling with us here on the program. Go Birds. All right, our Super Chat menu. We had a couple of Super Chats come in, a 10 as well as a 5. We'll take a look here. $5 or more. $5 or more. You get a duck for a duck race that we'll do at the end of the show. Let's have some fun here and see who wins it. $10, you get your name on the hard hat. $20, I'll run in place for 20 seconds. $50, we'll drink. And if you send in $100 or more, as always, you become a member of the Bird's Nest Hall of Fame. Shout out to Jonathan Hall. He is a first-time Super Chatter. The fact that we have monsters like that with Milton as a backup is insane. They'll definitely help our young cornerbacks get in stride and our offense get into rhythm. Milton Williams is a really good player, and he's a really good backup defensive tackle. And it's pretty wild that the Eagles do have the depth that they have, and that's a credit to the scouting department, the front office, how they've been able to draft these players, develop them, but also get some pieces behind them in case injury, attrition happens. But what I also think is important, Jonathan, is the defensive line rotation. And that's what the Eagles have been able to do. When the season comes back to the playoff moments, right? January, February, you want to keep your defensive linemen fresh, and you want them to be as fresh as possible at that point of the year. How do you do that? Rotate guys, and you don't run them into the ground throughout the course of a regular season. So I certainly agree. And then with the young cornerbacks that they have, I like the prospects of them. For William Jackson, we'll see if he's going to be able to come in, potentially if they do sign him, and help out those young DBs. Losing hope with the $5 Super Chat. You know how I know Eagles Now is better than the Winers Report? This is what Chase has to do for Super Chats over there. Check out the great nipples on the photo. And I think that was after the Show Me the TDs. But hey, man, I'm very blessed to be able to do what I do. I grew up in Philadelphia, took over this channel last year. I was hired to cover the NFL, NBA, college football here at Chat Sports in 2021. Those assignments included covering the 49ers. So it's a blessing to be able to wake up, do this every single day, talk about my hometown team, talk about another really good team, talk about the league as a whole, and have a platform like this. So some people will get in their feelings about it, but I'm literally living the dream every single day, and I'm just doing my job, and at the end of the day, love what I do. All right, let's talk Birds. Losing hope, appreciate that. That right there is 2 ducks. So anybody who sends in 5 or more, you get your name on a duck, and we'll do a duck race at the end of the show. Chase, what is a duck race? exactly what you think it is. In the meantime, though, those super chats, they were good ones. If you want to be a part of our mailbag, that's segment number 3. Segment number 2 is coming up. Use hashtag Eagles, better yet, super chat to get on the show. You can shield your eyes if you want. You can put on your visual earmuffs.
Get ready.
But this is Losing Hope's profile picture.
Woo!
He made it his profile picture.
Woo!
That wasn't me. That wasn't me. The joke is, you score a touchdown, show me the TDs. See what I'm saying? Show me the TDs. There you go. Losing Hope gets the joke. Losing Hope had to bust your stones. Hey, salute, homie. Always salute to you. You're a real one. So, like I said, Super Chat, $5 or more, you get a duck. We have a 2-person duck race right now. And it's going to be between the 2 Super Chatters so far on the show here today. Jonathan Hall and Losing Hope. Could be an epic battle if it's only 2 of them. As for what we're getting into next, Eagles play Monday Night Football against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a matchup that I think is sneaky good. We're going to preview that right now. But first, 19 likes away from 100. Make sure you hit that thumbs up icon. Like the video right now. Can we get to 100 likes by the end of this next segment? Let's preview this game right now. Welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now. I'm Chase Sr. No matter where you are or how you're tuned in, we appreciate you as always for making the program a part of your day. As for what we're getting into on today's show, Eagles-Bucs Monday Night Football preview. We're going to get you set with everything that you need to know. Betting odds, score prediction, keys to the game, matchups to watch, injury news. But first, speaking of this game, we're back for another watch party on Monday Night Football. Week 1, more than 90,000 views. Week 2, more than 150,000 views. We continue to set records here on the program here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Continue to be a part of history. Join us and hit that subscribe button. So I can't wait for this game, and I think Philadelphia has had a variety of tests to start the year. You go on the road, difficult weather, you're playing Bill Belichick. He had all offseason to prepare for you, and that defense was stingy, and they provided a good test to start off the 2023 season. Then on a short week, you come up against a Minnesota Vikings team that was 0-1 coming in, desperate to win. Brian Flores, their new defensive coordinator, he's done some good stuff schematically. He's a Bill Belichick disciple, and we saw early on that the Vikings were able to pose a pretty good test for Philadelphia's offense. And then the Eagles found their groove. They seem to have found their identity, and we literally talked about it all throughout the show in the lead up to that game. Jalen Hurts clearly not comfortable to start the season. How do you make him comfortable? Easy reads, easy throws, run the football. And then in turn, what happens? The Eagles' offensive line starts to feel itself because they love bullying people. And once they started to run it with DeAndre Swift, they were dominant. And this is an interesting game here because Philadelphia enters as 6-point road favorites. The over-under, pretty solid number there at 46.5. That's in that in-between range, depending on how things are going to play out in your estimation. Kickoff set 7:15 p.m. Eastern, 4:15 for those of you on the West Coast, an hour earlier as compared to normal Monday night games because ESPN is doing that doubleheader again. So the Bucs so far up to this point, how is Tampa Bay 2-0? Not a lot of people expected them to be perfect going into week 3, but they go on the road week 1, very solid win against the Minnesota Vikings, 20-17. They edged them out by 3. And then in week 2, the Chicago Bears are awful. They might be the worst team in the NFL all throughout the offseason. It made me want to puke that people were talking about Justin Fields as an MVP candidate. He was going to be the next Jalen Hurts. I called cap on that, no way. And so far, it's been awful. Now, the coaching staff for Chicago is not good. The defense continues to give up 20-plus points every single game, even though they have a defensive head coach. But for Tampa Bay to win that game against a desperate team, 27-17, it was close up until the end. Tampa Bay able to do some good things in that football game. As for Philadelphia, we know the story so far. 25-20 win on the road against New England in week 1. A gutsy and mentally tough dub for the Birds. And then in week 2, the scoreboard shows that this was a closer game than it was, but it was 27-7 The Eagles were in full control up until the Vikings made it 27-21, and then the Eagles go 75 yards right down the field, get some more points, led by DeAndre Swift, and that was the gut punch for Minnesota. Skull, skull, skull? Nah, Foles, Foles, Foles. Why the Bucs are 2-0 and the identity of this team in this juncture of the season. You know, the defense has played really well, and as we're about to show you, they do have some very good defensive players, edge rushers, linebacker, corner, safety, really at every single level of that defense. They're pretty stacked. They did beat potentially two bad teams. I know the Bears are going to be awful. The Vikings might be bad. So maybe take that 2-0 start with a grain of salt, but it's hard to win in the National Football League. I will say this, after everybody thought that Baker Mayfield was cooked, did some solid things with Sean McVay and the Rams last year in replacing Matthew Stafford. He has been solid so far. This Bucs roster is very loaded, and Tampa Bay has been smart with the football in some big moments, especially Baker Mayfield. Now, for Philadelphia on the injury front, it seems as though they're going to be in a really good spot. Nick Sirianni basically said that the players who missed last week's game, including Reed Blankenship, James Bradbury, they are expected to play in this game. And for Philadelphia, they are the better team. They're Super Bowl contenders. The Buccaneers are not. But beware that you cannot take this Bucs team lightly because they are a solid football team. This is a good roster when you break down all of the very solid players on it. And this is a credit to their front office and what they've been able to build. You have Mike Evans, who has a 1,000-yard receiving season every single year that he's been in the NFL. Chris Godwin is a very good 1B or number 2. Tristan Wirfs is one of the best left tackles and tackles in the game. Vita Vea can cause a lot of problems at defensive tackle. That's a good matchup, him against Jason Kelsey or him up against Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson. Devin White has been playing great ball, looking to land a new contract with that elite sideline-to-sideline speed. He could take over a game. They have Levante David, who's also a very good inside linebacker. Shaq Barrett coming off the edge. He had a pick 6 on Justin Fields last week. Two very good cornerbacks in Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis. And I really like the safety, Antoine Winfield, who really came onto the scene in 2020 when, led by Tom Brady, the Buccaneers won another Super Bowl championship. Again, you look at these Week 3 betting odds, a lot of people like Philadelphia here. They are 6-point road favorites. And I think in Tampa, not going to be a lot of Buccaneers fans. We know that because the Phillies play in Clearwater and because a lot of the snowbirds are going to go down to Florida for the offseason. And in general, a lot of Philadelphians end up going to Florida. And this part of Florida, it could be an Eagles-heavy crowd at Raymond James Stadium. -6 is the number for the Eagles, over-under at 46.5. If you're looking to bet on this game, only one place to do it. BetUS, promo code Eagles125 if you head to chatsports.com/EaglesBet. And when you use that link as well as that promo code, you get a 125% deposit bonus. You put in 100, you get $125 back. That's $225 to game with, as I've been all over this app and coming up with a lot of winners so far throughout the NFL and college football slate. How the Eagles are 2-0. Really, up to this point, Philadelphia's played C football. So to play C football and to be 2-0, that's pretty impressive. And that just shows you the talent that Philadelphia has up and down that roster because the talent wins out throughout the course of a 60-minute ball game. The Eagles, third in turnover differential this year. They are +4. So they've been able to force turnovers. They haven't done a great job of taking advantage of them. If they can do that, they'll start to win some of these games a lot easier. What I like about Philadelphia, they can play with contrasting styles. They can run for 250-plus yards and run it right down the throats of the Minnesota Vikings, or if they have to throw it a little bit, hoping that Jalen Hurts gets a little bit better, you can do that. Or a sloppy game in New England, you can win throwing it and a little bit of that run game. And then defensively, their defensive line wears you down throughout the game, and then their secondary has been very, very solid as well. My keys to the game, let's segue there. I don't think there's any question that Jalen Hurts has been very average the first 2 games of the season. He simply has to pick it up. And so far, his numbers are down, and the Eagles actually are like 21st in throwing the football as far as passing attempts go among 32 teams in the NFL so far. 363 yards in 2 games. That's not a lot. The completion percentage is good, 71.4, but his yards per attempt is way down. That's a career low, 6.5. Only thrown for 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. Both of those touchdowns going to Avonte Smith. Good defensive minds is what Philadelphia has had to face to start the season. Week 1, you get Bill Belichick. Week 2, you get Brian Flores. It's not really going to get any easier in Week 3. Todd Bowles is a defensive coach with a lot of good defensive players on that side of the ball. Key to the game number 2, don't commit dumb AF turnovers. That's how you lose this game. You go down to Tampa, you think you're going to coast to a win, and then you have bad ball security. Tampa gets some turnovers at home. They start to get fired up, momentum flips, and that can just turn into an ugly game. Like the Eagles did in Week 2, in Week 3, feed DeAndre Swift. I think the Eagles here on the offensive side of the rock have found a secret weapon, and a weapon who can help take this offense to new heights. This guy's better than Miles Sanders. I'm sorry, that's not a knock on Miles Sanders. It's a credit to the talent level of Swift. He was a second-round pick for a reason, led running backs in yards per touch last year for a reason, and the power, balance, speed, elusiveness, making guys miss, home run threat, physicality, agility, explosiveness. Like, DeAndre Swift has it all. And you saw that 28 carries, a $175, average yards per carry, 6.3 against Minnesota with a touchdown. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be more difficult to run against. Vita Vea is going to clog up that middle, but can you work to the sides of Vita Vea? Can you get out to the perimeter? Swift has the ability to do that. And how about breaking the game open with a couple of screen passes, because Swift is certainly capable there. While Baker Mayfield has played good ball so far this season, when you pressure him, he starts to panic. He gets happy feet in the pocket. That's when he's prone to making a bad decision and turning the football over. He's shorter. So can you imagine Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis in his sight line, really making it difficult for Baker Mayfield to see the field? The Buccaneers have great weapons on the outside. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. But if Baker doesn't have time to throw, he can't see him because the pocket is clouded in front of him because of that Eagles pass rush. It's going to be a difficult time for the former number 1 overall pick. And then lastly, I don't think this is a massive key, but it's something that I want to see. Jalen Hurts has 2 throwing touchdowns. Both of them, as I said moments ago, to Avonte Smith. That's great that Smitty's gotten going, and he looks really awesome. A.J. Brown looks great, but he's been held in check the first 2 games. If A.J. Brown breaks out in this game, the Eagles can win very, very easily, because that means that this Eagles offense is clicking. They're explosive throwing the ball downfield. He's great at picking up yards after the catch. I don't make a huge deal of him talking to Jalen Hurts. Nick Sirianni said on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being severe, 1 being nothing, he's going to rank it a 2. It's not a big deal. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts are boys. They go back to their childhood. They even got competitive if Jalen Hurts missed a throw, as they would train together when they were growing up. So no big deal here at all. From what I've seen from A.J. Brown, he's an Eagle-less player. So too is Avonte Smith, and that's why they complement each other really well. We round out with this. Predict the score. What do you think the score is going to be between the Birds and the Bucs down in Tampa? For me, I think this is going to be a sneaky, difficult game for the Eagles. That 6-point line as of right now, in my gut, it's a little bit too much for me. And I've been very close so far this season in predicting Eagles games. I said 24-20 week 1. They won 25-20. And then in week 2, I was off by a couple of points, but I took the Vikings plus 6.5 because I thought the game was going to be a 6-point ball game. So my prediction, 28-25. Eagles get the dub. They go to 3-0. And when we look back on it, it's a pretty good win against a pretty solid opponent. Mailbag to round out our live show, and then we'll do our duck race. Right now, we have 2 Super Chats that have come in to be a part of the duck race. Jonathan Hall and Losing Hope. 2 ducks so far with Super Chats coming in $5 or more who are going to be a part of the duck race. By the way, Jonathan Hall with that 10, he is going to get a gold sticker and go on the hard hat here. Any first-time Super Chatters get on the hard hat as well.
We need a more competitive duck race here.
Yeah.
2 names.
We need more people in the duck race.
Absolutely.
Like, it could be fun with Jonathan and losing hope, but it's always better when there's more people in there. All right. Use hashtag Eagles or Super Chat to get on the show. How are we doing? Status check with questions there, Chip. With some Super Chats? Cool. All right. Last call for any questions to get on the mailbag here. Last call. Use hashtag Eagles or Super Chat to get on the show. Hashtag Eagles or Super Chat to get those questions answered. We have a couple of good ones in there, but we'll always take some more. So use hashtag Eagles or Super Chat. We'll give you about a minute here. 1 minute to get those questions in. The pressure is on. Dig deep into that creative brain of yours and come up with some questions. Bird Gang Eagles. Is there somebody yelling in the background? Marshall Green is live in the studio to my right. He's on New York Knicks now. I think they've gotten a couple of $100 Super Chats. So if that's the screaming, that might be it.
That's hilarious.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Be like Bird Gang Eagles and use the hashtag Eagles. Don't worry, nobody is in danger. I'm going to send that to the group there, Bird Gang Eagles. That's good stuff.
Getting some good questions in here.
Good questions.
There we go.
Lion Fighter, Losing Hope, Andrew Nathan.
Make sure if you want to get in the duck race, we're doing it after this Q&A, so $5 gets you in the duck race.
Yes, sir. All right. Let's do this mailbag here. You can just start full screen there, Chip. About to talk some birds here with the Bird Gang. Yeah, exactly. It's like, first 7. Yeah, first 7. All right, so 2 good segments, and then we'll round out with this mailbag here. And let's start taking your questions right now here on the show. Welcome into today's Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. On the docket for the show today. Going to open up the floor and take a lot of your questions because I know that Eagles fans out there, very smart, very intelligent, very intellectual football fans. That's why I love being a part of this fan base, and that's why I love taking your questions as well. So without further ado, what do the people have to say? Jose Serrano gets us started. Our run defense is a huge improvement from last year's first few games to this year's first couple of games. I told you Eagles fans are really smart. That includes Jose. And Jose, remember how bad the Eagles were with that rushing defense last year? They were so bad that they had to make emergency signings of Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph because they could not stop the run. And I'll tell you why this Eagles rushing defense has been good this year. It's the impact of the young players. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, people continue to underrate Milton Williams just because he's behind really good players. Last year, Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave had the spotlight. Milton Williams played really well, especially down the stretch. And then you throw in how the Eagles linebackers have played. Zach Cunningham was awful week 1, better in week 2. I thought Nicholas Morrow's range was very notable in that week 2 game against Minnesota. So they're doing a good job at defensive tackle, and credit to Fletcher Cox because he's aging like fine wine, continues to be one of the better defensive tackles in the game. The young, talented guys, as well as some of these veterans, Philadelphia and Howie Roseman have done a great job building up this defensive line, and because of that, their run defense has improved. You're completely right. Bird Gang Eagles, how do you think the Birds will do on Monday? I think that the Eagles are going to win. I think it's going to be a difficult game You go on the road. I'm not too worried about the weather because the Eagles have been playing in warm weather climates in training camp, the preseason, and it's been moderate temperatures in Philadelphia. It's not like you go there in December after kicking it and practicing in 30 degrees, right? Completely different then as compared to right now in the mid to late portion of September. So I think this is a close game. I think the Eagles win by a field goal. The over-under is very interesting to me. It's like 46.5, so the odds makers do think that some points could be scored in this game, but give me the Eagles by 3. What did I say, 28-25 is my final score that I predicted on our preview. Ernesto Ojeda, what is the latest Philadelphia Eagles injury news? So, Ernesto, good question, and obviously an important question going into this football game because Philadelphia last week against Minnesota in week 2 certainly had their defensive depth tested. This week, though, James Bradbury expected to play, Reed Blankenship expected to play, Fletcher Cox did play against Minnesota. He continues to stay healthy. So the Eagles in a very, very good spot as far as their health goes, better than they were in week 2, getting those reinforcements back. But we'll see how Mario Goodrich can step in for Avonte Maddox. We'll see how Zach Cunningham and Nicholas Morrow and Christian Ellis continue to play at that linebacker spot without Nakobe Dean. Will the Eagles offense finally break out in this game? It's been arduous. It's been tough. It's been difficult. The games have been muddied up by the opponent so far for this Eagles offense, and they haven't caught a rhythm. So B for breakout, D for dud. I think that Jalen Hurts does rebound for a pretty solid game. Today's show is sponsored by AG1, and I have my AG1 right here, and I'm just going to sit back and drink some. It tastes so good. I know it's so good for me, and it costs less than $3 per day. If you're looking for a comprehensive and daily nutrition option that's convenient, AG1 is your answer. We also have a great deal for our audience. drinkag1.com/chatsports. Use that link, which is also available down in the description of this video. You get 5 free travel packs of AG1 and a year's supply of vitamin D. Do you want to take care of yourself? Do you want to get in better shape? Do you want to improve your health? AG1 has allowed me to do that. It can allow you to do that as well. Benefits of daily use: promotes gut health, it supports immunity, it boosts your focus and your energy. For me, the NFL portion of the calendar year, it's extremely busy. I work pretty much 7 days a week. The watch parties are long. Work days are long. I love what I do, but I need to be able to continue to give you content here on the airwaves, right? Right here on YouTube. And I'm able to boost my immune system with AG1. 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. I simply mix 1 small scoop of AG1 in water. I shake it up, and there you go. I have the greatest comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition option that's out there. So one more time, drinkag1.com/chatsports. That's 5 free travel packs and a year's supply of vitamin D. Now we shift gears to a question from a real one. The team hasn't worn their Kelly Green jerseys yet. Is it too early for them, or are they not ready? You know, it's a joke. I ordered one when they were released on Fanatics. I got a Jason Kelce number 62. It's not expected to get to me until October. People also rip Fanatics because they were receiving Jalen Hurts jerseys and Jalen Hurts jerseys and overall Kelly Green gear in which the numbers and the logos were slanted. Michael Rubin owns the company, former minority owner of the Philadelphia 76ers, said that will never happen again. But speed the process up. You knew the release was going to be in high demand, and you're not ready to send those jerseys out? As for when the Eagles will wear those jerseys, I think the first game is against the Miami Dolphins coming up. Let me check here. Off the top of my head, they will wear their Kelly Green jerseys and helmets along with gray pants and white striped socks for 2 home games. Week 7 against Miami, Week 12 against Buffalo in the 2023 season, and hopefully, honestly, a little bit more than that. Andrew Nathan, with Philly going up against that Tampa 2 defense, who do you think of going to more And who's going to be the focus in your game plan? It's going to be A.J. Brown or Dallas Goedert. Look, both have been held in check so far to start the season. A.J. Brown hasn't really been able to get going. I like how the Eagles included Dallas Goedert in the game plan a little bit more in week 2, but as far as results go, he still isn't producing the numbers that a lot of us anticipated, and there are a bunch of reasons for this, right? Let's not just put the blame on Brian Johnson with his play calling and play designing. You can't just put the blame on Jalen Hurts. There are so many things that go into this. Play calling, play designing, offensive line protection, Jalen Hurts not having enough time to see the field, Jalen Hurts being unsure of himself, a running back missing a blocking assignment, a tight end missing a blocking assignment. An offensive line like Lane Johnson taking the inside guy instead of the outside guy, and that's why Danielle Hunter, it was Matthew Judon in week 1, got the Jalen Hurts. So those are all of the reasons why this Eagles offense has struggled a little bit. But they have to be better in pass protection. You continue to run the football. Look, the Eagles established that run against Minnesota. What did it do? Jalen Hurts started to see the field clear up a little bit, and he made some strikes downfield to Devontae Smith. So hopefully the Eagles are able to really have that balanced offensive attack and hit Tampa Bay with a couple of different options. Dallas Goedert on the seam balls, Andrew. A.J. Brown on a variety of routes, because you do that. This Eagles offense, when it's clicking, very difficult to maintain. Lion Fighter, how concerned are you with our pass defense? I'm not too concerned. Look, they closed the game out against New England. That's props to them. First year defensive coordinator, so the scheme is a little bit different. So that's, of course, a little bit challenging. You close the game out against the Patriots, and then against Minnesota, I really wasn't concerned in that game. And a reason why Kirk Cousins threw for so many yards and why he had so much success, the Eagles were up 27-7 in that game. They were playing prevent defense. So they're playing prevent. We'll give you anything else out in front of us, and you can take it. Now, the Vikings able to come back because when you play prevent, you play back. You try to stop the big play that allows teams to matriculate down the field. So, I'm not too concerned because I like the cornerbacks. You lose Avonte Maddox. You're going to miss him because he is a very good slot cornerback. Mario Goodrich is going to fulfill his shoes, and if he can't get the job done, maybe the Eagles will make another sizable move, but Darius Slay, top-tier corner who's still playing at a great level. James Bradbury coming back Monday Night Football, most likely coming off that concussion. And if that pass rush starts to get some sacks and not just quarterback pressures, makes the back end's job a lot easier. Chua Lore, how can the Eagles stop Baker Mayfield from throwing to his wide receivers? You get a pressure on him, and you continue to, generate that pass rush, and you really dominate the offensive line for Tampa Bay, and hopefully Hassan Reddick can finally get on the board, and everybody else continues to do what they're doing. Josh Sweat has had a great year, and he's turned himself into one of the best and most underrated edge rushers in the NFL. And he gets a lot to this defense. So if Baker Mayfield starts to feel that pocket get a little bit uneven, then he's already short, right? Could struggle to see where he's going, make some mistakes with the football, but you get that pass rush home, you don't have to necessarily worry about as much Mike Evans and Chris Godwin beating you downfield, but it is going to be a very good test for this Eagles team, especially with some question marks at safety as well, and sometimes those safeties are in charge of keeping that long ball in check. Predict the score. What do you think the score is going to be? Birds, Bucs, Monday Night Football. Share your thoughts with us. Get those score predictions in. We'll be doing a watch party for this game right here live on Philadelphia Eagles Now. You don't want to miss our coverage of that. LA, we've seen 2 weeks of show blitz and play zone or zero blitz zone in the secondary with this trend and it being a copycat league. Does the offensive coordinator install more shallow crosses and zone beaters? LA, ball, man. And that's why I was talking about, you get A.J. Brown on some of those crossers, Devontae Smith on some of those crossers. But also, what I continue to want to emphasize here, easy throw. Get it out to DeAndre Swift on a swing pass. Blockers are able to get out in front. That's kind of a pass play that's an extension of the run game. Bubble screen out to A.J. Brown. And then the defense starts to play up a little bit if that's happening. And then you're able to work some things in behind them. underneath to that intermediate range. And then you start hitting that, but then you run the football. And then they're in that intermediate area where they're like, what do we do now? And then you start running those crossers. And A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, DeAndre Swift, very good at picking up yards after the catch. So hopefully Brian Johnson makes some adjustments. Look, credit to him. He made some adjustments in game against Minnesota. Air game wasn't working. They started the run game. DeAndre Swift went wild, and they ran it more than 40 times for more than 250 yards and took the manlyhood out of Minnesota. Jonathan Hall, does A.J. Brown get a touchdown? You know what? Bold prediction here on the show. And shout out to Jonathan Hall earlier for that donation. A.J. Brown getting a touchdown in this game. Lamont Lancaster, Atlanta not playing Cordero Patterson. Eagles should trade for him. Cordero Patterson as a returner on this Eagles team, I think that he'd be really good. He gives you explosiveness. He gives you juice. He gives you size. He gives you physicality. All of those things Britton Covey does not give you. And I watch a lot of Britton Covey at Utah because I love watching college football. A home run threat to take it to the crib anytime he got the ball on a return. But he looks smaller, looks a little bit slower at the NFL level. Philadelphia continues to trust him because he's somewhat sure-handed, even though he coughed it up against Minnesota. Thankfully, Keely Ringo is there for the fumble recovery. But let's be real here. Britton Covey is not the player that Cordero Patterson is, who has taken the ball to the house from 110 yards out a couple of different times. Xavier Carter, do you think Nolan Smith will have an impact on the game with this defense? Hasn't really done much, but if he does, he'll be able to earn his money, Xavier, like you seem to be earning your money with that profile picture. Nolan Smith has got a limited workload so far. The snap count hasn't been all that much as compared to his fellow rookie in Jalen Carter. Probably a couple of reasons for that. Carter, the more dominant player, ready to play right now, and Nolan Smith kind of getting the grasp, but also he's behind some really good pass rushers. Brandon Graham, Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett. It's just a logjam at that position, whereas defensive tackle, Carter's been so good, so you have to put him on the field, and the depth, not like it is at defensive end. Who you got? Monday Night Football. We asked you for those score predictions now. Get those game predictions in. I'm going Birds in Tampa Bay. PHITB, let us know. And don't forget to join our watch party. Eagles Now Live. Let's get to 53,000 subscribers prior to kickoff. If you want Eagles analysis every single day, you know this is the place to come. All right. Last call for our duck race. Last call for our duck race. 2 minutes to get those super chats in. Right now it's a 3-man duck race between Jonathan Hall, Losing Hope, and Lion Fighter. 2 minutes to buy a duck. And you could be a part of the race as well. Dennis Designs, oh my gosh, cut Maddox and sign Buda Baker with that money. Buda Baker's on IR now. And he'd have to trade for him. And it's not like you get rid of Maddox's salary. He is due $7.5 million per year on average through 2025. All right. Who's going to get a duck, or is it going to be a 3-man duck race?
Any takers?
For the final minute of this clock, any super chats get a duck.
Uh-oh.
Any super chats get a duck. Any super chats get a duck. Starting right now. F it. Let's do it. Any supers get a duck. Any supers get a duck. We have a 3-man duck race right now.
All you need is a shot. All you need is a chance.
All you need is a chance to win the duck race. How many people can say, I won the duck race on Eagles Now? Xavier Carter! He is a first time super chatter! So Xavier Carter with the 5. Thank you, brother. That gets us up to 4 ducks. 4 ducks. Who else is going to get one? Any amount of super chats gets you a duck. Losing Hope even said, come on, make it a race.
He wants to earn it.
He wants to earn that victory. 10 seconds left to get a duck. 10 seconds left, and then we'll give you about a 20-second delay. This is electric. Hashtag us gets a duck.
There we go.
Hashtag us gets a duck.
There we go. It's a race now.
Losing hope. No one wants that smoke from my duck. What the duck? All right. That's it. Hashtag us Xavier Carter, Lion Fighter, Losing Hope, and Jonathan Hall. All in the duck race. Let's make it 1 minute, too. Let's make it a minute duck race.
All right, we ready to go?
All right, here we go.
Oh, man.
3, 2, 1, go!
They're off!
So Xavier Carter out to the early lead. We have Jonathan Hall, Losing Hope, also neck and neck in that second and third spot. Hashtag us. Secretly lurking in the background. Lion Fighter X, slow to get moving. Just needs to gel the oil pipes a little bit. Xavier Carter, the number 4 duck, out to the lead. But here comes Jonathan Hall. We're halfway through our race. Losing Hope, making a little headway. Look at the momentum for Lion Fighter. Can Lion Fighter make an improbable comeback? He slides back. Losing Hope slides back. The momentum of the river favoring Jonathan Hall. Xavier Carter in second. But look at Hashtag us with the late charge. 3 seconds to go. Hashtag us from last place to first place gets the victory. Woo! Hashtag us wins the duck race live on Eagles Now. That's electric.
Man, he was behind the whole time, too.
Last place the whole race.
That's
awesome. Why it's a minute race, because Hashtag us gets the victory. Good stuff. If you're coming across the show for the first time, make sure you subscribe. Losing Hope, Lion Fighter's duck was a British cop. Hashtag us good job saying, woo! Got the victory. Xavier Carter, what? Oh, man, I love the duck race. That's great. Had to do a race, like Andrew Nathan said, just cuz. All right, subscribe to the show. Daily updates, news, rumors, analysis, film breakdowns, live shows, watch parties, right here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Thanks to everybody who tuned in today, and we'll catch you next time here on the show.